Welcome back to Visited by Voices Live for another Just Talking genre. Joined today by my co-host Sam.
That's honey baked ham. Thank you very much.
I think that might be a copyright violation to the Honey Baked Ham Company.
No, it's honey baked ham Carlson. They're not the same thing.
We'll have to get on the phone with HR and the legal department on this just to make sure we're okay. So Jay, let us know. I'm also joined today by Mr. Daniel Shine from Flesh Wound Features.
How's it going, guys?
We'd been getting some comments that it had been too long since Dan had graced the show, so we roped him in, and we'll return the family pet once he's done with the show tonight.
There you go. There you go. I'm just on loan.
So Just Talking Genre is a show where we just talk about what's going on around the horror sphere and beyond, but it's also a chance for you guys to kind of guide the show. This is really your show. If you have something you want us to respond to, want our opinions, or just want to put an idea out there into the horror world, just let us know. Anything going on with you guys before we start with the viewer questions?
How was everybody's Thanksgiving?
Not too bad. Mine went quite well. Had a Cajun turkey this year that was delicious, and traditional one this year. Stayed home, which first time in about 7 or 8 years.
Wow. You usually go out to eat, or
usually go out? Yeah.
Oh.
One person, it's like you do nothing but cook, and it's not as fun. So yeah, we went out, and I'm going to blame probably the pandemic, but the place we usually go to was horrible last year. So we just decided, let's go old school.
And make our own food.
Make our own food, yes.
I've heard this movement of catering companies doing in-your-house baking of the entire Thanksgiving meal, whereas they show up and use your equipment, but they bring everything and they clean up afterwards and they go. I think that's a fascinating concept.
Yeah, it is. I've heard about that. I don't know if we have a place close enough that'll do it, but yeah, it's just a cleanup. When you have a lot of people, that cleanup, it just feels like hours sometimes to get the house back to normal. So
yeah. We deep fried a turkey. Well, we didn't deep fry a turkey. We didn't deep fry a turkey. My father-in-law deep fried the turkey, and it was delicious as it is every year. So
nice.
Was this
Thanksgiving?
Was this like Texas style where it's like boiling a lobster alive, but you do it with a turkey?
I don't know. It's outside getting deep fried. No, deep fry. I guess it's still deep fried, but it's outside getting deep fried. And I don't know what happens to it. All I know is that there's some special Cajun seasoning that they put on it, and it's amazing. So that's the extent of my participation in Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is a nice change because I'm used to like doing, pretty much the whole meal. Nice. Except the one year that my dad got me a Cracker Barrel Thanksgiving, which was amazing. So it's just like you just go and pick up your Thanksgiving food at Cracker Barrel, and that's it.
Don't let Piz hear that. I heard he had a bad Cracker Barrel experience this year.
Everybody's had a bad Cracker Barrel experience. It's Cracker Barrel. I'm not going to shame him for that.
Well, it's a tradition with him, though. The whole Thanksgiving at the Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, I saw him talking about it on a stream and said this was like the first bad year because they didn't have, I guess he showed up too early, but they told him food would be ready at that time. So I actually felt bad for Piz.
Oh, I was not aware of that. I must have missed well, I did miss the Thanksgiving.
Well, so you heard it here, guys. Everyone, if you still have any leftovers in the fridge, package it up, tape up the box, send it to Piz so you get some Thanksgiving leftovers. If you need the address, just search Google, you'll find it.
I just want to see a massive stack of like just styrofoam stuffing and
all these dripping wet boxes because no one refrigerated anything.
Yeah, just
I'm gagging at the idea of the smell in my head, but then also the texture of the box when you pick it up and it's all soggy.
Speaking of things that come in the mail, I'll be drinking a pumpkin spice Wild Bill's tonight.
Oh.
All right, let's see.
It's
Have you had this one before?
I have. This is of the fall flavors, the only one I liked.
Okay.
The apple pie is edible, but I'm not a big apple person to begin with. I'm definitely not a big pie person. The hot toddy was some kind of racing fuel masquerading as a soft drink, and I would not recommend it for any living person.
Surprised you didn't enjoy that.
No. And I lied to you because before we started the show, I said I hadn't really watched anything new, and that just reminded me that I did watch Brain Freeze, which I won't recommend either.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to watch it next.
Is that I saw the trailer was really good, if it's what I'm thinking. Like the baby crawling through the hospital with the zombies. It's not good.
It's a Canadian zombie film that feels like it wants to be kind of like a later Return of the Living Dead sequel. Take that for whatever it means. It really just doesn't come off. And it's likable. The whole time you're watching it, you're rooting for the movie to get off its feet, and it just never does. I don't regret having seen it, but I mean, it's not good.
No. So I take it's not like some experimental film where it's just the baby avoiding zombies for 90 minutes.
Oh, no, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I know it's not going to be that, but I want that movie.
No, and there's so many things in it that done right, you'd be like on your feet for. But it's just like nothing quite works. And there's some also heavy-handed lefty politics in it, but because it's done so badly, it's funny rather than annoying. But unfortunately, you're kind of laughing at the film for not getting over that hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever. It's a missed opportunity, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to watch missed opportunities. I think the world probably has enough zombie movies that.
Yeah, I was rooting for it to be different. I thought that trailer was excellent, and I'm disappointed to hear that now. But yeah. I'll check it out anyways.
You check everything out, so that would
pretty much.
All right, so let's go into this. Davern says, "I'll probably miss this thing, and in that case, I want to ask you for a brief commentary on Cameron's Queen of Hearts Act 1, which you recently premiered on YouTube." I'd love to do that for you. I have not seen it. I've kind of had a busy week. I want to get to it, but I'm also the kind of person that 4 hours of my life is a long time, and I got to figure out how to have that happen. Yes, it's in bite-sized pieces, and that's great, but that's also kind of the double-edged sword is that it's something I'm going to have to keep going back to. So I will get around to it, I'm sure, at some point, but I can't right now. I'm a lifelong retailer. Last week, Black Friday hit, my life gets complex. So I unfortunately can't really give a commentary. Did either of you guys check it out?
Not a Twin Peaks person because I just get stuck in the weeds with all the symbolism. So eventually I'll be able to maybe focus on something with lots of symbolism and not get lost. So
okay. Second question, also from Davern. Have you seen Ridley Scott's Legend? And what's your take on it? If you did, better than Ron Howard's Willow. Well, I don't like Willow, and that should surprise exactly no one.
I saw that in the theater with I know my dad. I'm pretty sure both of my parents were there, but I think my mom recounts it as my dad wanted to see Willow, so we went to see Willow. And I don't remember anything. I might have fallen asleep, but I was little.
Scott's Legend is one of my least favorite Scott films. But it has a lot of reasons why I think it doesn't work. I mean, the original cut of the film died in a fire. They've tried to reconstruct it a number of ways from outtakes and whatever, but it was always going to be a compromised film. Sometimes that works, like, Alien 3 is a compromised film, but not because of a fire, but because of a studio that had too many heads that wanted to control the film. So sometimes I think it works when a film ends up to be not its original vision. In the case of Legend, it's sad because there's so many things that are awesome, right? Like Tim Curry, awesome. That makeup, that Rob Bottin makeup, awesome. A lot of the imagery and great. And it's beautifully shot, but it's not a compelling story. Now, I know, Dan, you actually liked Green Knight this year, and I'd say I'd place Legend very close in how I feel about it. Like, it's a film I wanted to like, but I just couldn't get there.
I liked it. It's not a film that I'm going to recommend to most people, just because, again, it's a slog. I probably more walkouts than I've seen in a very long time for a movie. Because I think obviously regular audiences were expecting this big fantasy epic with sword play and dragons, and it's a gorgeous film. I mean, I'm not going to say it's flawless, but I enjoyed it. You really have to dig art house to enjoy Green Knight, I think, and that's going to be an issue. It's no Saint Maud, it's no Hereditary, Midsummer. It's certainly below those classics that we've gotten recently from A24, but I still enjoy it. What can I say? As far as like anybody in the chat goes, I don't know. I can't recommend that to anybody in particular. But I noticed Legend and Willow. Why no love for Deathstalker? Because I think Deathstalker's awesome. I have a Deathstalker poster over there. So
the original film.
Yes.
Got to be careful about those sequels, right?
I don't know. When you have like a gladiator arena and then just a totally clear shot that looks over it at a parking lot, you gotta love that. Deathstalker 2, Jim Wynorski. Come on.
I'm just feeling like a lot of scantily clad and yet chainmail clad women with long legs is probably the reason you're giving the films a pass.
Might have something to do with it, but yes.
Sam, can you bring up the next question?
Oh, sorry. I was just contemplating like wearing like scantily clad women in chainmail. Like I would think your nipples would get caught in the chainmail.
And they do.
I know. Important things. All right. Question number 3. Have you seen Belgian 1989 import Rabid Grannies distributed by Troma? Thoughts?
I have. It's certainly one of their better films under the Troma banner, which may not say a whole lot depending on your views on Troma. As far as Belgian horror, though, I got to throw out Calvaire from 2004, which is a fantastic movie. If you want something a little lighter and just a lot of fun, like a good party flick, Yummy from last year, which I thought that movie was just a ton of fun. There's a lot of really great Belgian horror. Daughters of Darkness.
That's what I was going to get to.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's Borgman? No, I think that might be Dutch, but
Climax.
Yeah, Climax. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot. Vignen with Rufus Sewell. I remember enjoying that one.
It was great in the Two Rivers trilogy, which is only 2 films.
Yeah. Belgian horror is well worth diving into. It's not a massive list of movies, but Cub is another one that
I love Cub.
Yeah.
Cub, Artsploitation put out a great release of it too.
Yeah.
Cub is amazing. Cub is good stuff.
Yeah. So check those out, guys. Cub was another one that nobody talked about, but it's well worth seeking out. That the Blu-ray was pretty cheap. I don't know if it's out of print now or not, but it's a great film.
Artsploitation are such a weird label because I was so rooting for them to really get to like Vinegar Syndrome level of, and they don't put out enough for that to happen.
No, unfortunately not. But man, Der Bunker is one they put out. A really weird movie. Wither, yeah, fantastic.
Within Woods.
There's some heavy stuff that they put out for sure.
Yeah. Okay, and the final one from Davarin. Rank the 4 horror movies of Michiel Soave, please. Thanks. So let me make sure I can name all four. Del Morte of Del Amore is going to lead the list no matter what.
Yeah.
Then there's Stage Fright. There's The Sect,
Church.
and that would be my order actually. I think Church feels too like 80s special effects, like it more like it was made for the Fangoria audience. You can tell. Whereas The Sect is a weirder movie than that, and I like that. But both of those are kind of a big step down from Del Morte, Del Amore, and Stage Fright, though. That's for sure.
Cemetery Man or Del Morte, Del Amore. That's an easy number one. Stage Fright's an easy number two. Yeah, I'm probably good with that order. The Sect, then the Church. Yeah. Considering when he was, I mean, looking at Italian horror, which had all segued into television at that point, the quality of Cemetery Man for that 94 is just amazing. I don't know how he did it right then, because Italian horror was dead for a good 5 or 6 years minimum, to be generous. Yeah.
Have you seen Del Morte, Del Amore, Sam?
I haven't seen anything by that person that you just named, and I'm afraid I'm going to butcher their name. So,
well, we all butcher his name. He's an interesting cat. Most horror people discovered him as an actor before he became a creator, because in front of the camera, in Fulci's City of the Living Dead, he's the guy next to the girl who vomits up her intestinal tract.
Yeah.
Does he get to vomit up anything?
No, he gets to die.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like was a reoccurring theme. So he was a unlisted AD or something on that film, right? And they just put him in the car.
Yeah, he worked with. He was in Blast Fighter, really goofy movie.
He was in Fulci's the sci-fi gladiator film with the motorcycle. What's it called?
Endgame. Then he was also in
Conquest. He's in Conquest.
Yeah, he did movies for everybody. He has like bit roles in like Demons, Raiders of Atlantis is another one you're probably thinking of. A Blade in the Dark, Tenebrae. He's pretty prolific as an actor too.
Well, son of a bitch, I've never heard of this dude until tonight, and I'm annoyed now. Annoyed but grateful.
Del Morte, Del Amore may be the best horror film of the 90s. Okay. If not, it's definitely in the top 5. There's just zero question about it. It's great. A lot of people don't understand the movie, which is unfortunate. At some point, I'll help them with that. But it's amazing, and lovable film.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like we're talking about how Green Knight was too art house. Like Del Morte is art house, but it never feels art house. Okay. It feels like an exploitation film, but it's actually something else, and that's what's so awesome about it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's a great film. And Stage Fright is just a great slasher film, and it's a rarity because it's a slasher film from Italy, not a giallo.
And that would be a rarity.
It is a rarity. But it is definitely a straight up slasher flick. I mean, plot wise, it's not so different than something like Intruder. Really, it just is a way better looking movie. But sorry, Scott Spiegel. No offense, but. What else do we got in the chat? Cliff.
Yes. Yeah. Any Christmas horror or just plain Christmas movie recommendations? Y'all know we're going to talk about it. I'm struggling to find worthwhile movies of the genre I haven't seen before. So, I mean, I'm going to say Red Christmas and await further instructions.
Ooh,
even though they're both fairly well recognized. Cliff probably has seen them. I feel like Cliff's definitely seen more movies than I have, but I still got to recommend him. I'm not going to recommend Jack Frost. I know that's a lot of people really like that movie.
I do.
I like the second film more than the first. I'm that guy.
See, I'm probably going to have to go with the second one. Also, I mean, not to revel in the deaths of others, but it's kind of funny that the protagonist died in an avalanche. Just a little bit.
He did. Yes, that's ironic.
There's just something completely wonderful when films just go look over the edge of the cliff and just jump. And that's a film that says, yeah, we're gonna set a kill a snowman film in the tropics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the point of view where like the first film was clearly silly, the second film was just saying, no, we're going way beyond silly.
Yeah. Just go with Jack Frost 2. Skip the first one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say actually Sint, which is like Saint.
Oh yeah,
if you want a killer Santa film that's not what you're expecting at all, and is just, I don't know, it's hard to even describe. It's like a thoroughly modern film, and it's just amazing. That's great. Rare Exports is probably a little obvious for people, but I do really think it gets overlooked for the Krampuses and the Silent Night Deadly Nights of the world. But Rare Exports is amazing film with a really great central performance from a child, which I don't care what anyone says is a rare thing.
Hey, question for you guys. Did either one of y'all see Elsa from 2019? Or did I imagine that movie?
No, 2019.
Yeah, I don't think it actually took place. Damn it. I was not trying to open up a trailer. I'm very bad at multitasking. Apologies. I don't believe. Oh, it was a short. Wait, no,
okay.
That's not the right one. It was that weird, like it was like the weird horror movie, but with Frozen, kind of.
I'm gonna have to look into it. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it was not a horror movie, but just like a fan trailer. I thought it was a horror movie a few years ago when I saw it, but somebody had picked it up. I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. Somebody in the chat is about to correct my ass.
Oh, you know it.
It's very light on Christmas, to be perfectly honest. But actually, we're doing it for Slashmas this year. Dead of Night. If you want to watch the it's not the first anthology film, but it's essentially the
best.
That set the tone for all anthology films to come, and it's a great Blu-ray too.
It is. And the whole movie rocks. Everyone focuses just on the ventriloquist piece in the middle, which is awesome, no question. But the whole movie just rules. And the way the wraparound segment works is something that is just, it's never really been successfully done since.
Haunted Mirror was good. I know, Hugo was just so popular and so borrowed from. I mean, you'll recognize
Magic is the same movie.
Magic is the exact same movie, and then some of those stories were essentially tackled in Twilight Zone later on. That's why, like I said, again, there's only one story that's Christmas oriented, but looking into it for our show, I didn't realize we still have a survivor, Sally Ann Hose, who played Sally in she is in her 90s and still active in the theater world. So
good for her.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That cool. I think she's the only cast member left, unfortunately.
I hope I can live to be 90.
I'm not sure I want to. It depends what 90 looks like. And what the world around me looks like too. So it's weird. Just like Halloween, I don't really watch a lot of Halloween movies during the Halloween season. I don't really watch a lot of Christmas movies in Christmas season. Again, as a retailer, believe me, if I could distract myself from the fact that it's Christmas time, I will. But I certainly think that there's something really there where you get the cold months. What did Lovecraft say? The things we're really afraid of are cold, wet, and dark, right? Yes. Well, that's kind of Christmas right there. So there's something there that we work from, and I think there's a lot has been mined out of that the particular hole in the ground, but there's more still to come up. So our legal department is in the house. So Jay, if you want to address the copyright situation with Sam's name, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be great because I've got to get shirts made. Honey Baked Ham Carlson. Maybe I should just change it to Honey Baked Sam.
That seems a lot like safer parody rules.
That's true.
Yeah. Ben Grimm is saying Day of the Beast is one I'd recommend. I love that film.
Yeah.
I think Iglesias was one of those guys that I think we all thought was going to be just one of the biggest names in the genre, and didn't really work out that way. But that movie, great handshake.
How he didn't end up being a Guillermo del Toro, I don't understand. I know at one point I don't know if it was Duke Nukem or Doom, but he was attached to one of those with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it just fell apart at that particular time, unfortunately. But he is amazing, and I don't know, it could still happen. He's still young enough, but I don't know that this. I'm pretty sure this is Christmas themed, although it's certainly winter themed. And since he was a guest on your show, I guess I'll mention if you want a good book to read, "Where the Dead Go to Die," Mark Allen Gunnels.
Yeah,
I did pick that up recently from Second and Charles. I was happy to see it.
You have the best Second and Charles going, because the one closest to me, I never find what you find ever.
I've noticed if you talk to the people there, like when they really get some of their stuff in, and when they're gonna put the carts out, you get in there quick, because I'm sure where you live, I don't know how far you travel to your Second and Charles, but
that's a good 40 minutes.
Okay.
I don't just go to the Second and Charles. There's all kinds of things around it, though.
I'll just say make friends with the staff, and they'll keep an eye out for you.
No one wants to be my friend.
And yet here we are.
Yeah, it's not every time, but I found out of print hardcovers from Bloodletting Press or Cemetery Dance, sometimes for $10.
Wow.
And they're $100 books, out of print. So yeah.
Wow. Dave has a question. He says, I watched The Dorm That Dripped Blood today, aka Death Dorm, aka Pranks. Who likes this movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
Go for it, Dan.
I never thought much of it. It's okay, Sam. We'll give you homework. Just get your notepad, write it down. Michele Soavi first, though. The second time I watched it on Blu-ray, it was better than I remembered. It's not a great movie, but I enjoyed it. It's not, for some reason, I don't know. Maybe I saw it in a really crappy version when I was younger, and I didn't think highly, but it's a solid watch. Nothing more than solid, though.
I must have rented it 5 times on VHS, trying to, because the video stores were very limited in what they had.
Yeah.
And so you tended over the years to rent everything repeatedly in the horror section.
Oh yeah.
And it was just one of those films that I realized, oh, it's this one. Why did I do this again? So I can't say I think it's a film I much like. I haven't seen the longer director's cut called Pranks, which I know was on the Blu-ray release, but by the same rate, I think I'm probably okay.
I wouldn't say you need to rush to rewatch it, but it was not bad. I don't know. I moved it out of the bad column for golden era slashers. It was fine.
I mean, I like it more than Don't Go in the Woods Alone and The Forest and shit like that. But Jay says, gotta fry the bird, which I don't think is an answer to the legal question.
It might be.
And Darren Burrows is saying he just got done watching the Advent Calendar French Horror. I really think you all will like it. Have not seen it, so I'll put that on my list, my Sam list.
Yeah, I'm on it too. Is that the Shudder release? I know Shudder put up a new Christmas one, or they're going to. But I plan on watching that ASAP.
Jonathan is around. He says, "Sup, homies."
What's up?
So,
and Bronny Man, referring to everything, says it's dog shit.
I feel you, Bronny Man. It's like every day I wake up, it's dog shit. Yep.
Laundry's out there.
Hey, Laundry. So, Dan, have you seen Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Believe it or not, I've got my ticket finally booked tomorrow. I was waiting to go with family because everybody's like, don't see it without me. So I will have a verdict on that one tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I guess we should probably avoid talking about it just to not spoil it.
Oh, I've heard some things. I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just was more invested in the new characters than the old ones, and I just
Oh, really?
just didn't need them.
Oh,
Hate 'em.
it was to me painful when they showed up.
It was so awkward.
Bad. And not so much not the Aykroyd scene, which is in the trailer. That's fine. It's just this exposition dump. That's whatever.
Dude, I know. It's like he's just sleepwalking through. It's just like, vomit up all of the backstory. But
So let me catch you up from what happened last time you saw us.
exactly.
I've a $20 bet that I've been told I will cry at the end, and I'm like,
No.
I really don't think so. Considering
No.
things I've not cried during, I kind of doubt it.
I didn't cry. I got a little misty eyed because it's Harold Ramis and Egon is my favorite Ghostbuster. But I don't know. Like, I cried at the end of fucking Rogue One when Princess Leia shows up, but that was because like the day before Carrie Fisher died. So, and then everybody gave a standing ovation, which in retrospect, I'm like, what y'all doing?
You gave a standing ovation to a face replaced actor that wasn't the actor
I know.
warning. That's just odd.
I know, and you're caught up in the moment though. Mob mentality. What can I say?
My simple, very short Ghostbusters Afterlife thing is this: they didn't make the movie for me, so I have to be very careful. They made a young adult novel adaptation. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's meant for a younger audience. It will appeal to the younger audience. It plays a lot with nostalgia for the older audience, but the plot is straight up young adult.
Mm-hmm.
It's a valid way to make a film. I didn't feel like it was a disaster, but I didn't laugh or feel the need. And in fact, I would say I didn't have a moment where I said, "Hey, that's where other people are going to laugh," and no one in the theater with me laughed at anything. There is a really painful tagline drop in it that I thought, oh god, that's the level of writing we got here. Ultimately, it's going to satisfy someone, but I don't think people are even going to remember that it really exists in a couple of years. Whereas the original film, it will be with us forever.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, this is a good movie if you want your kids to get into Ghostbusters. Maybe see if they're interested in this one.
And then take them home and show them the real movie?
Yeah. The original may be not appropriate for all ages, obviously. Blowjob Ghost, come on. But again, it's sort of like, just watch the original Ghostbusters.
The consensus seems to be that it's the best since the original, which is not a very high bar, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. When I saw that first trailer with the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I was like, this is not going to be what I want it to be, at the very least.
Yeah. I already have a problem with that because it's sort of like Ray chose the form of the Destructor in Stay Puft. Why are those there? Why?
Well, more than that, if that in film, right, the events in New York happened, they even reference it. Mm-hmm. You're gonna tell me a company kept their mascot after that happened? Aunt Jemima got canceled because people thought maybe it was a little racist, not it attacked the city of New York.
I know, all those people died. It stepped on a church.
Yeah, but it's operating on that level. It's a very surface level movie, and that's fine. I mean, I don't like Ghostbusters 2. A lot of people do. But I will say this, I at least understand why people embraced Ghostbusters 2, because you had those actors still kind of in their prime. I think it's badly written in a flatly directed film.
Peter McNichol, making up a backstory for Janosch.
But I get it. Yeah, well, but I get it, right? Weirdly, I mean, I still go back to this. Ghostbusters is a franchise that you could keep alive so easily, but so much time has passed. The only legitimate way to do it is just make the real Ghostbusters cartoon features, because those characters don't need to age. Different people can voice them. It's fine. And the reality is you can still tell those stories, and the audience would be forgiving. They'd accept it. But all female Ghostbusters, kids Ghostbusters. I'm not sure any of this is going to satisfy the whole audience the way just an animated feature would.
I can't wait to get to cat Ghostbusters. I'm there for that.
That would not shock me at all. Once we got the emoji movie, I was like, okay, nothing.
Oh, Lord. Why did you bring that up?
That was the end.
Ooh.
He's missing a K, but he's right.
That is how most people are going to feel about that movie. So, yeah, you're not wrong.
Jay did not care for the Green Knight either.
That is not the official legal position of Visited by Voices, though.
No. Off the Grill podcast.
Have to be a nerd with a hat to enjoy Green Knight. Well,
there you go.
I love you too, Steak.
Jay liked Cub. I like Cub a lot. I think that movie deserves a big cult fan base. And of course,
thank you, Steak.
Our dear friend Steak wants to know if I'm considered a Cub in certain communities. Unfortunately, I am
too tall
for Cub, so I'm actually a yearling. So let's keep that right. Ben Grimm is saying Ragnarok is a good creature feature from Norway, giant snake creature. I think I've seen the art on that, and I get really fatigued by giant CGI monster movies. As much as I love real kaiju films, whatever. Joe Bob, he's been watching Dexter, the New Blood, and Old Dexter. There's something called Old Dexter. That sounds amazing.
Just killing people at the retirement home.
I wonder. I think Dexter might be something I binge next. As far as
never watched it?
Series go. No, I didn't have access to the fancy cable stations at the time.
It's awesome through the John Lithgow season. Then it goes down the tubes. I have not watched the new show yet, though. Joe Bob, how is it? Because I don't want to give anything away, but there's certain things that they just miss the point towards the end. Steak's in a fighting mood tonight. Damn.
He is. Rare Exports is really good. There's no two ways about it. It's not the film you think it is, though. It's not the film you think it is.
I take it you've seen Santa's Sleigh, the Goldberg classic, Sam.
I haven't. I should. I know.
It is actually better than you would think for a Goldberg Christmas movie.
I have heard that, but I mean, okay, so the bar is like what? See No Evil is way up here, and then I don't know what you'd put at the bottom.
Oh, it's better than that. It's better than that.
Okay. I will point out that at one time, Wrestlers in films was not the kiss of death for a film. Whether you have your Rocky IIIs or your Princess Brides.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it's different when it's a vehicle for the wrestler to be a main character.
So speaking of shirts, so in the Teespring store, the new Visited by Voices, It's Midnight Somewhere shirts are available with the classic image from Dr. Calgary on the old school television set. Available cheap. Get it for Christmas. Give it to someone you don't like.
And if y'all start spamming the chat with the table flip emoji, maybe we'll get a Don't Parking shirt and a Honey Baked Sam shirt.
And anything is possible. Speaking of that, Jay, the ruling has come down from legal. You guys don't want to mess with Big Ham.
What about spam?
Now that's not me.
It's half of you.
You see, that's the kind of thing that I'm still surprised with. You share and see what happens. There we go. As Mr. Roboto is speaking.
Or you just bumped Bill Murray's comment out of there.
Where's Bill Murray's comment? Get it back in.
If I say so myself, Ghostbusters 2 is more digestible than Alien 3.
I'm going to disagree with that.
That's a debate for an entirely different show.
It is.
I think Ghostbusters 2 is why he held out for a very, very, very long time.
Can you imagine if Ghostbusters 2 had been directed by David Fincher?
Oh,
Oh,
would have been better. Much better, I think.
okay with both.
Oh.
What if Aliens 3 was directed by Ivan Reitman?
I don't think that's even possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Charles Dance's performance would be very different, right?
Have you ever watched him in a movie called Space Truckers?
I've heard of that movie.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Stuart Gordon. I'll just say robotic penis, and I'll just leave it at that.
There you go.
His proudest moment.
Okay.
Not RoboJocks.
Well, no. Space Truckers is actually quite good. Probably the best Steven Dorff movie out there. Adult.
It's better than Blade.
Yeah, but he didn't star in Blade. He stars.
It's still a Steven Dorff movie for me.
You're saying
Like,
it's
what do
better
we know
than
Steven
Gate
Dorff
2,
from?
right?
Huh?
Absolutely better than Gate 2.
I have zero memories of Gate 2 except that I went to go see it. I remember walking into the theater. I remember sitting down. I remember getting up. It's like someone wiped my memory of that movie.
That's
My
how I felt
friend-
about that movie Countdown.
Oh, I like Countdown. The killer app movie, the Final Destination with an app.
Yeah.
I like
Got
that
like
movie.
no coverage, but it was in theaters.
Yeah, not for me. Couldn't.
No,
I was
that's
just
cool.
like, I forgot that I dragged Chris to see that movie, and I was like, oh, we did see that. I don't remember anything from it.
The thing is, I like programmers, this little movies that in the genre that come out and they kind of like, you're not going to think about them again ever, but you had a good time at the theater. I really like that, and I had a good time with it. It didn't rewrite any of the major tenets of the genre, but I had fun with it. I think I own a Redbox copy of that movie. Have not checked. I haven't probably put it in and played it. But I do that with a lot of I need the big releases. I just wait for Redbox to sell their copies.
Hmm.
I don't care. I don't care about the artwork at all. I own the movies. That's fine. Because I like the small independent stuff is where I'd rather give my money anyway. So
That's true. That's very true.
okay, Dan, you're gonna have to explain your comment.
I can provide context. This is the context.
Oh,
there you go.
oh.
Yeah.
You've already stripped.
What if it's your skin?
So if you strip without an audience, is that stripping or is that just getting ready for bed?
How do you know there's not an audience, though?
Yeah, it is 2021, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leave a webcam around. Somebody in the FBI is watching you.
Private eyes watching you. Hunter X says, do you guys think the 4K format will revolutionize the entire Blu-ray library, or will they pick and choose which titles get a 4K treatment? Go, you guys, because you know this is going to become a thing.
Pick and choose, probably.
No, I mean, I will say there's some crazy stuff coming out on 4K right now. I mean, ticks.
Ebola syndrome, right?
Oh, Ebola syndrome. That made my Thanksgiving. That was like the best thing that happened during Thanksgiving. Everybody in the community needs to review Ebola syndrome because I'm gonna do it. I want everybody to do it. I don't care. I'll review it 3 times on different shows if I have to. Because
The great Anthony Wong Sao Chao.
yes. And get Untold Story as well from Unearthed.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, and if you can dig a little bit deeper, he has a film called Taxi Hunter, which is just frigging amazing. Like there was this period where all Anthony Wong did was play psychopaths, usually cannibals. Not in Taxi Hunter. That was a break.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about Ebola syndrome is that's only one of the many, many, many depravities that Anthony Wong enjoys.
Yeah.
So let me ask. I mean, apparently they have a true uncut, which has never been seen anywhere.
That's what makes it probably my most anticipated release because, I mean, I don't even know if I could tell you guys what it's about. I mean, just the IMDb description of this is just insane. But you have to see it. If you are a cult movie fan, you must see Ebola Syndrome.
I can tell you what Ebola Syndrome's about because I love Ebola Syndrome. Ebola Syndrome is about a criminal from Hong Kong who goes to South Africa to evade the law after he commits a murder in the streets. So he goes down there and he gets a job working at a restaurant, and the restaurant just goes out into the jungle and kills animals and brings them back. But while on one of these animal hunting expeditions to get meat for the restaurant, he decides that he needs to rape an unconscious, foaming at the head and mouth native woman by a river, and that woman has Ebola. So he unwittingly becomes a carrier who, while he does not have any of the symptoms of Ebola, infects everyone in his immediate surrounding area. But he's aware of this, so he decides to start just spreading it intentionally through the food at the restaurant and also through rape and murder. And it is one of the craziest films you'll ever see, and it is completely medically accurate. No, it's not medically accurate at all. But that's the coolest thing about the movie is that you have an actor who is considered one of a generationally great actor in Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah.
You probably know him from Hard Boiled. I mean, he's worked with everyone, taking on just the most insane role ever.
I can't wait to just hear him talk about it, which he does a little bit, I think, briefly on the Untold Story Blu-ray from Unearthed. But yeah, no, but you're right though. A legit. This was not just like some schlocky B movie actor. I mean, Anthony Wong is a legend. I mean,
he's in IP Man.
Yeah,
fourth. Yeah. I mean, he's everywhere. But you will not believe how grimy the film is. Now, I've seen very blurry, pixelated images of the full tongue cut, which is, in the beginning that is cut from every print. It just you can't. But I saw this really blurry years ago. I'm hoping that that's there because that's brutal. Like that's one of the grossest things I've ever seen on film. And apparently, all they did is take a real cow tongue, put it in the actor's mouth, and cut it. So
yeah, you're in for an experience, guys. Watch it Christmas Eve with the family.
Absolutely. But to answer the real question here, unfortunately, now 4K UHD is not going to revolutionize anything because it's only running between 6 and 8% of all sales week in, week out. The hardware manufacturers are not updating their models. They're just keeping what's on the market, except for, of course, Samsung, which famously abandoned the format. Truth is, DVD is gaining its foothold on the market again. Blu-ray is pretty much dead at retail. Once again, just like last year, Walmart, who are the largest retailers of physical media in the country, brick and mortar anyway. Obviously, Amazon is online, but they're reducing again the footprint of movies. It will be less than vinyl records by the end of February. So you're literally talking about less than 100 titles in your Walmart. And with that environment going on, the highest priced, format is not the one that's going to revolutionize anything. Hardcore collectors are probably going to demand if they're going to spend the money. But I will also tell you that $50 releases are not going to cut it. It's not going to last very long because I want the Kindred, right? But you know what? I will not pay $50 for any movie.
I broke yesterday. I did order the Kindred. I finally broke.
I have a bootleg DVD of the movie that's whatever. It's better than my VHS copy.
Yeah.
I do have it on VHS, but I'm just going to have to be okay with that. Unless they release a copy for $20, I mean.
They might. Now, that I haven't heard officially yet, but I have a feeling you're going to get a $20 general release copy of it. It might take a while to sell out, though, because, I mean, you can still get Massacre at Central High, so I don't know how long. Kindred, I don't think it's going to sell out immediately, so you have time.
And by the way, Kindred is not the Stone Cold classic that a lot of us make it out to be. It's just a really fun movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Not great, but it is good. It's fun.
Never look at a watermelon the same again.
It's been a long time since I've watched it, so I was like, I don't own that one yet, so that at least we're getting a lot of Phantom of the Mall, which never made the jump from VHS. We're starting to get some of those. I still have my fingers crossed for Cast a Deadly Spell and a few others that I'd like to own on Blu-ray at the very least.
Well, Cast a Deadly Spell and Witch Hunt need to be together.
Yeah.
That has to be a dual release because separately they won't sell, but together as a double feature, I think there's a chance there.
Yeah, we haven't had a double feature in a little while. Scream Factory kind of stopped that.
Well, I think that they're going to have to revisit all these ideas to try and keep the physical media alive if there's really going to be an attempt. The problem is a lot of these companies are walking wounded now. I mean, the sales are down. Vinegar Syndrome might have the best recipe for success only because the films they're releasing they don't have the value of something that Scream Factory are releasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want those films, you're willing to do whatever, right? Whereas you want a copy of Shocker, do you really? You can stream it in higher quality than you can buy it currently. If you really want that movie, I don't want it, but you can have my share of it.
I'll take it.
No.
I love Shocker.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not. More for me.
Cool.
Horror Show is probably a better Shocker.
Horror Show is infinitely better.
Yeah.
That's a Jim Isaacs film. To go back to Jason X. Of course, he finished the movie. He didn't start directing, but I like that movie. I think that movie has a lot going for it. There's some stuff in it that's goofy that I wish wasn't there. You can see the Nightmare on Elm Street influence, but mostly it's a pretty serious, dark horror film, and I like that.
Yeah. Technically, House 3. If that was a really good buy, that region-free house set that had all of them.
Well, except that you ended up with the fourth film in your house.
That is true, but you would never buy it separately. So
no.
There's that.
That is the ultimate only for a completist film because that thing is not good.
No.
Yeah, and Horror Show is available to stream for free on Tubi.
Yep.
There you go.
Very cool.
It's a great film. Great Lance Hendrickson in a uncharacteristically moody performance. Like it's weird because he's a dark actor, definitely, but in that film he's playing a good guy, like a legit non-compromised good guy, but it's still a very moody performance. It's good.
Is it as solid as his performance in Mind Ripper, though?
It's better than his performance.
He's a funny guy to talk to. He calls them alimony films, so he'll joke. I mean, he will talk about like some of these, like he did an Asylum movie. It was like a Pirates of the Caribbean knockoff with like no water. I don't know like how you do that, but he has a good sense of humor about the crap he's made, which I think is kind of nice.
Well, I mean, after you make Alien versus Predator, you're probably, and a Hellraiser sequel somewhere in there.
Oh, yep.
I at least popped when he got his like, "Don't you walk away from me, you son of a bitch" line in that one.
I don't know which Hellraiser movies I've actually seen.
No one does. It's like you get to 4 and then everything blurs together.
I know which Children of the Corn films I've seen, though, because I tried to do a video on it. And I failed.
Just watch 3. I mean, 3 is a good, like, granted, goofy B movie, but there's not a lot of good ones. There really isn't.
My video is going to be how far can I get into each of them before I have to turn it off, and there's going to be a counter. But I just got to the point where I couldn't even bring myself to put the discs in. Because I bought that. I bet that this collection of like I got it for like $12 of all the movies except for the first, which I've seen the first. And I like the first film. It's not great, but I like the first film. but yeah, it was like the second film. I was like, holy crap, this is bad. Third film, oh my God, I think that's the one I got like 40 minutes into. That was the best of the bunch.
Mhm.
But then the one after that, I remember it was like 2 minutes in. I'm like, I can't. There's no way.
A lot of stars, though, like got started in Children of the Corn movies, oddly enough. But yeah, they're pretty bad. Have you guys seen Night House yet?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Oh, you guys need to. That Bruckner's the guy that's tackling the new Hellraiser, which I'm curious because apparently that began its life as a Hellraiser script. So, which again, I don't want to give anything away, but you can kind of maybe see things potentially turning that way in that movie.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nico says, Hellraiser Deader, wash hands.
I've probably seen that, and I don't know what it is anymore.
Carrie Wurr.
Yeah. Hey, Daily Ghost.
Whatever. Hey, Ghost.
So this comes off next week, and we'll find out whether this needs surgery or whether it just I'll have limited mobility for the rest of my life.
Will you still be able to do jazz hands? That's not jazz hands. This is jazz hands. You got to flex at the wrist. Speaking of jazz hands, though, I did find out something funny about my husband. I spooked him the other day purposely because I thought it would be funny because I was going to go bother him, and I hid, and he left his office, and I went boo, and all of a sudden you just see him go ah. So that's what happens when you scare somebody that tall, is they turn into jazz hands.
Like I imagine like someone that tall just turns into one of those used car lot inflatable stickmen.
Yes. Oh my God.
Wacky inflatable. Oh, I had it, but then I lost.
Spirit fingers. Also good.
Ben says he was almost a extra in Hellraiser Judgment. That's the one I haven't seen. I don't believe it has an E, but I'm getting to be like a spelling Nazi tonight. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, no, like that film has a better reputation than any for a long, long time in that franchise. But my problem is that I can't do it.
Judgment is actually pretty good. Now you can tell it's cheap because sets very limited. I think they shot part of it in like a garage or something. But I was actually impressed with Judgment. I mean, if it were to continue off of that, which I think is impossible because that was like the last thing before all the Weinstein mess. But some pretty memorable characters in that movie too. So yeah, if you haven't seen Judgment, you could do worse.
Is that the one with Heather Langenkamp?
No.
No, Judgment?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't hate that one. I thought it was interesting seeing how bureaucratic hell became. So I mean, I'd be like, yeah, let's see more of this weird heaven and hell stuff going on.
You get she's like unusually like foul mouthed, and like it's a small role though. Like you kind of want to see more.
So weird.
Heather Langenkamp dropping the F-bomb, and you said Langenkamp, and I heard Ashley Lawrence. I was like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I know they're interchangeable. Let's be honest.
Well, no, you know what's weird to me is like Heather Langenkamp. Not that she was a great actress in Nightmare on Elm Street, but she got the job done, and visually, she was arresting. I'm not saying beautiful necessarily. She's an attractive woman, but I think there was something about her that looked like she belonged in a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked that there was no career. She did that television show for a couple of years that
I love
Heather
that.
Worker guested on, and then she was gone. Pretty much, that shocked me. The same thing happened with the Blair Witch cast. I thought all those kids were going to do something.
Well, Joshua Leonard is still active. He was in that phone movie. I keep forgetting the name. Where he's stalking the girl in the asylum. Leonard's had a pretty good career. And then the Heather Donahue, I think, runs a winery now, so she's doing okay.
Well, I thought they'd all be actually really big coming off that film and those performances are way better than their reputation.
Yeah, I agree.
Nico is saying, I find Hellraiser 4 very entertaining. I love or like each of the first four without reservation. So it's so tough for me because when the first film came out, I saw it on VHS. I was a little bit too young for that title in the theater. I was seeing horror and R-rated films in theater, but I was underage, but I was getting in. Hellraiser had a reputation because of some of the more overt sexuality in it. That was going to be a hard one to get into. But I saw it on VHS, and I liked it, but it always lost a little bit for me when all the big optical effects at the end happen. And it was like, well, suddenly it looks like a freaking cheap Star Wars movie. I don't know. But then the second film I loved. I did go to theaters to see Hellbound, and I just loved it. I thought it was everything I wanted the first film to be. And the third film happened, and within 15 minutes, I knew I was in trouble. And then the rest of the movie happened. So I went into 4 expecting schlock, and it didn't disappoint on that level. But it is schlock. I mean,
yeah.
I the first two just kind of like, I'm not going to just watch one. I'm going to watch them both because they bleed together, and
Yeah.
I love Hellraiser. What can I say? I mean, 3, I think in recent years I've been able to just judge it as what it is and have some fun with it, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful Bruckner will do it justice, but my fingers are crossed. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to adapt.
I don't know. I have my idea what I'd do.
Yeah, just
so what if the film there's an assassination attempt on the Pope? His blood hits the pulpit floor after an address, and Pinhead rises in his place.
Oh.
The floor's been the puzzle all the time.
Worldwide debauchery. Well, that's in the first film, pretty much, because it's not as if like it mattered that Frank died there. So I would double down and make Hellpriest the priest of the world, of this world. I'd bring the debauchery and like the idea that he's changing all the religious rules to suit his view. I would go crazy with it.
Hell of an opening, just the hooks just like going into the Pope, and I don't know that I think, what is it, Hulu is gonna just like no, we're gonna cut that. There's a lot though. I mean, you could also do the Boom graphic novels with Kirsty taking his place, which I think is a hell of a storyline. This though, my understanding is it's more of a reboot, so which technically Christie's not really Christie, so I don't know if they're going to go directly off Hellbound Heart or what they're going to do.
There's no chance they're just adapting Hellbound Heart.
I don't know. I mean,
so? I don't see it.
I mean, I know that it's a female Pinhead, which if you read the book is perfectly fine. That's not
androgynous.
Yeah, you could be any actor you wanted.
And
really.
The voice is definitely feminine in the
in the book. Yeah, I know a lot of people.
But the Pinhead character isn't the leader of the Cenobites anyway.
No, it's not important, really. I mean, so I'm kind of curious, honestly. I don't. It doesn't have to be just like the movie for me. I'm fine with them doing their own take on it. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think that with as many bad sequels, everyone's open for them just to play and figure it out. I've heard that there's some sort of attempt to have a cinematic Clive Barker universe going on that will cross over with each other. I don't know how I feel about it.
Why does everything have to cross over? Just make a good movie and
money.
I know, but it doesn't work. I mean, I don't.
I mean, it works for Full Moon. But that's not exactly a mark of quality.
See, I have this dream in my head. I've said I don't really want to ever make movies, but the dream in my head would be Charles Band, get him in a room and say, just let me make one of your shitty sequels. Just pick the franchise. I don't care. I really don't. And then write something really good using like just the backdrop. How great would it be to make a truly terrifying Ginger Dead Man sequel?
You miss
like
all
everyone,
the shots you don't take, Lorne.
it's like people like rent it from from expecting one thing and they get a legitimately great horror film. That would be awesome.
Gotta get Gary Busey back on board for the voice.
Oh, it probably won't happen because Charles Band told a story about Busey chasing actresses around on the set trying to tickle them, and that was a thing. So,
Just kidding. Yeah. You know, we can use the guy that's been the voice the last few. He loves Shocker, apparently.
Wow.
Ginger Dead Man 2 Passion of the Crust is a masterpiece. So I'll just put that right there. The cookie gets crucified.
Maybe it'd have to be an Evil Bong sequel then. I don't know.
I'd be fine with an Evil Bong sequel. Bring it on.
But I'd want to do it as a serious film. Because I think there's something hilarious about it. Well, no, I'm if I'm not being paid for it, I'm not doing it. But
what if they pick you up on the offer? Just pitch it.
I would do it.
Send them a paragraph. Send them a paragraph. Just DM them on Twitter and see what happens. Report back, Lauren.
Hey, Chaz, you got $10,000 to loan me? I can make something for you. Ah, man. If you guys have any final questions out there or anything you want us to discuss, just scream it out because we're at the hour point. We'll probably be closing it down shortly. So throw your final questions at us. Do appreciate all you that have made the chat so vigorous tonight. I mean, I'm just scrolling up it. There's a lot of conversation there.
Except Steak. You can't ask anything.
Steak can ask whatever he'd like.
I don't know. I could block Steak.
Steak is a nice boy.
Well, if I block Steak, technically it's Cube Steak, right? I'll go now.
Wow.
I know.
It's better than Thursday nights normally, which is skirt steak.
Oh shit.
What's left on your guys' watch list now coming to the end of the year? Because make sure Night House is one of those. But
it is. Yeah. It is. Gaia, Censor, and Pig. Those are all on my list.
I don't know I'm bothering with Pig.
No, well, Pig is a drama. I'm going to throw that out there. That's not some crazy revenge movie like it was advertised. But
damn. I thought it was Mandy with a pig. I mean, I'll still watch Pig, but nah.
He's actually really good in it. It's a straight drama, basically. I mean, and Nick Cage is actually pretty good in that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Night House is the only chance I think that my list is going to change at all from what it stands.
You watched The Medium yet? That's still a big one on mine. The Korean film. Okay.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm going to have time for to watch by the end of the year, but
I know that feeling.
We'll see. Overall, I can already tell you that while it wasn't tough to come up with a top 10 for the year, it doesn't extend much past top 15. Whereas 2020 was legitimately a year where there was like 25 titles that I wanted to be in my top 10. So, I mean, definitely not as good a year. And definitely the low points were way lower.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we did have Saint Maud, got the Blu-ray.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolute masterpiece. And you know what? It's funny because a film like Saint Maud isn't like this grand idea. It's just they took a concept and wrote an intelligent, thought-provoking, and scary film around it. We got to stop with this trying to come up with this clever hook. Just give us characters that go through a thing that we are. We don't have to care about the characters because at no point was I like, Maud needs to have a happy ending.
That was a great ending. I love that ending.
It is a great ending.
Yeah.
But it definitely, you have to tell compelling stories with compelling characters. But all the glitz and the hooks and the clever ideas, it's not helping us. that's how we end up with Brahms the Boy too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The theatrical releases this year as a whole were pretty piss poor.
Oh God, yes.
I did not see a lot horror-wise in the theater that I loved. It's actually sad, and it's not a particularly good movie, but Resident Evil probably stood above a lot, and that tells you.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah. It's just okay. At least they tried to make it a horror movie again. I'm probably a little more generous that it was a little scaled back. It felt like they were trying to make a real horror movie, and I at least appreciated that. But
so so 3/4 of the cast don't get killed by lasers.
No. It's
a zombie movie.
Yeah, towards the end of Resident Evil, it just got like, okay, there's all these clones now. It's so flashy. I'm not watching a horror movie anymore.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not fantastic, but I was a little more forgiving of it.
Awesome.
Fair enough.
Well, guys, we're going to call it a night, but thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Let's just do some quick shout outs, all three of us. So Ben Graham, and you shout out to someone next, and then Dan. We'll do it fast. Ready? Ben Graham.
Shout out Jess Graham.
Shout out to my husband.
Jay the Stingray. You can use the chat as a cheat.
Mike and Mikey. I will do the two mics.
Our legal department, Jay the Stingray.
Nico.
Davrin, he was the first one to comment tonight.
Nice. Absolutely. Joe Bob Tarheel. Always coming in with those cool chats.
Robert Long.
Was he here?
Or you're just shouting him out because.
I'm just shouting him out because he's here in spirit.
Daily Ghost. Ben Grimm, Hunter X. Who else did we miss? Crispin Garver, Bill,
Nico Middies.
Nico.
Oh, Brawny Man.
Nico.
Brawny Man is correct.
And
Thank you guys. Thank you guys all for coming out and playing with us. We love getting together with you guys. People are what makes this important. Just listening to us prattle on about stuff we love, hopefully is enough enjoyment to keep you on board. If you know anyone who you think would like the channel, send them over here. We have lots of content coming. I know it's been slow. A lot of stuff was happening in my life. Hopefully, especially after Christmas, there'll be a lot more time for a lot more content. There will be a couple uploads next week, pre-recorded stuff. And with that, any final words, guys?
Ham.
Turkey.
Yeah,
I love that.
You can do it.
You okay, buddy?
Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Either way.
So if you like,
Nature.
Take a look.
burned my skin, futzed around in the water, driftwood all over the beach, and